Hi skiers. This is one video of two where I'm going to show you where you get some data on your races and then kind of what I do with it. So the first thing is where does the data come from? How can you look it up? So I want to share my screen with you. I'll try to make these videos quick and brief so they're not too boring. If you put into Google Connecticut high school ski racing, the first thing that comes up is CISL racing. You can also put in CISL. CISL Connecticut Interscholastic Ski League is the race we ski in, or the league we ski in. So here we go. Connecticut Interscholastic Ski League. It has a little welcome page here. There's a little thing to log in. You can't log in, I don't think. I have a login, but I don't think you can. But it doesn't matter. You don't need one. If you just scroll down here a little bit on the right side of the page, it shows latest team results and latest individual results. Individual results would only be to get like where you are in the total rank of everything, which might be fun to keep track of. I'll show you where I keep track of all this stuff. But let me go to the team results. So our team results from yesterday, January 19th for girls. I'm just going to use girls as an example. The boys, you can follow along and get the same thing on the boys side. It works the same way. So we get team results here, January 19th. This is our race yesterday. Kind of a slightly warmish day as far as the weather goes. And we had a bunch of people out because we're supposed to have exams today. Of course, it's snowing and exams got canceled. So here we are, team results, January 19th. If we scroll down here, we're going to see the first place team for the girls was Ridgefield yesterday, and then Fairfield, and then independent team. Independent team doesn't count. Their score simply does not count as a team score because that's a conglomeration of independent kids who go to schools who don't race. So their schools don't have ski teams, and they're like 6 or 7 different schools, and there's, I don't know, 8 or 9 kids on the girls' side, and 8 or 9 kids on the boys' side. So those don't count. Staples, Greenwich, Glastonbury, Amity, Pomperaug, Newton, Newtown, Hopkins. So all those schools above us got better scores than we did. And then Danbury, Stamford, Cheshire, and Southington, we have wins against. So this is, first of all, this is how we figure out our win-loss. We won 4 against 4 schools yesterday, and we lost against, I think, 7. Ridgefield, Fairfield, 1, 2, skip independent school. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, so we're 4 and 7 yesterday, which is the same as we were the first week as well. This number here, 340.41. Jot that number down. Remember it for the next video. 340.41. That's our total team score. Let me show you where that comes from. If you scroll down the page here, you'll find each of these teams in the order they were in. Ridgefield was the first team, the fastest team. This score of 286.44 is the sum of the first 6 racers, their combined score. So 286.44 is the sum of 46, 46, 46, 47, 48, and 51. Those are their best racers that day. We take the best racers that day, add up the 6, those 6 scores, their combined scores, to get them a total score. You want the lowest total score. So if you go down the page, you'll scroll down, we're going to be, it should show 8th place or 9th place. 9th because of the independent school. So here's Hopkins. So here we are. These are the scores that counted for our 340 seconds and 0.41 seconds. So Sophie's score, Anya's score, Chase's score, Kaylin's score, Dylan's score, and Sophia's score. Everyone else's scores didn't count towards the team score, which is totally fine. This is kind of a game of risk and chance, right? Notice that there's only 4 other scores here, even though we had 8 other skiers skiing. So these are the 10 skiers that we started on the red course. These are the 10 skiers that went from the red course to then the green course. All the folks that started on the green course are not shown in this list. They're shown further down, and I'll show you what that means in a minute. But these 6 racers counted towards our team race. Notice that Ella was only a half a second behind Sophia. So if her score, if she got a little bit better, her score would count instead of Sophia's. That's all, no big deal. So we're super close there. Totally fine. The other thing I want to let you know here is that this combined score of 340 is always going to make it the top 6, but you have to get both of your scores to count. So if, for example, Sophie DQ'd on her second run, let's say that 27.2 seconds right here, let's say this 27.27 seconds right here was a DQ instead. Her combined score would also be a DQ and therefore would not count. In that case, the 6 scores that would have gotten taken would be these scores. We would have had Ella Zimolo's 60.53 included in our score, and Anya would have been our highest score at 54.4. And what would have happened to our team score is it would have moved up. It would have gotten higher by 7 seconds, because really Ella's score is replacing Sophie's score, right? Ella's score of 60.53 is replacing Sophie's score of 53.63. So this would have increased by 7 seconds. Now, what would have that done to us? Let's go up to the very top. 7 seconds. 7 more seconds. Oh, look at that. 7 more seconds. We probably still would have beat Danbury, but only by like a couple of tenths, right? Super, super close. So there is some volatility there as far as if a skier DQs, or if a skier doesn't show up. If one of our better skiers doesn't show up one day, our scores aren't going to be quite as good. Now, let me show you where the other 4 come in. So there's something called a JV score. If we keep scrolling down, we'll get to a point where it says JV scores. All right. Now, JV scores, we don't really pay attention to. We consider JV kind of practice as far as we're concerned. You need to put down 4 good scores to have a JV score. So clearly Fairfield came in first with 4 good skiers. That 218 will be the sum of these 4 combined skiers. And so Ridgefield's got a big team, Staples has a big team, and then us, right? So we kind of have the next biggest team here. I think everyone else winds up disqualified. So Amity has got a smaller team than us, et cetera, et cetera. So here's our girls that started on the green course. But notice Lily's score. First of all, this 22 is wrong. That's not the right score. It got done incorrectly. It's really like a 26. But even with her 26, she scored pretty well, and is not going to start on the green course again. She's going to start on the red course next time. So your starting orders the following week are based on your scores here. So if I go back up here, this will look like, and we massage this a little bit, but Sophie and Anya and Chase are probably going to be in that order, near the top of our group. This last week, Sophia raced in first position. She is captain. It was her first race of the year, so she got to race in first position. But things always get moved around based on your results. The other thing that happened is, I think in this last race, or this race that we're looking at, Dylan raced above Kaylin based on their results from last week, but Kaylin this time raced faster than Dylan, so she'll race ahead of her next week. So we always kind of rework our ladder a little bit. If you're out for a week, I try to put you in what I think is going to be the right spot the following week. I'm not always perfect at that, but that's kind of how we do race order. And don't get fussy with me with that, please. I kind of have to massage based on what I think is going to happen with kids too. So that's a little bit about how this all works. One thing to note also, let's take a look at who we won against. Let's go up the top here. Notice that we could be competitive against Amity and Pomperog, but we probably won't get to Glastonbury, right? And behind us, we're probably very competitive with Danbury and Stanford, although we did manage to beat them 2 weeks in a row. So, but this is all pretty close in here, right? Are we gonna get up to Ridgefield's pace? Probably not. But we should be shooting for mid pack, right? It would be really great to get maybe maybe 5 or 6 wins instead of 4. So we could do that. Now, the Cheshire team and the Southington team, why did they disqualify? Let's take a quick look. So I'm gonna scroll down to the bottom of varsity. So just above the JV break here, here's the JV break. Okay, so Southington simply just doesn't have enough skiers, right? Looks like they have 2 skiers. They happen to be really strong skiers. Those are awesome times, 45.7 and 49.4. Those are really, really good times. But they don't have anyone to back them up. They didn't convince their schoolmates to come race with them. They got to work on that, it looks like. The Cheshire team, so we're going to beat them every week because that's all they have. Unless they're all out for COVID. That could be another thing too. Totally possible that they're all out for COVID. Now, Cheshire had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 racers race. So they had an opportunity to put down a team score. But 2 of their racers, Olivia and Pochio, I don't know how to say her name. They each disqualified one of their races, which means there were only 5 times posted for a combined time. If we get to the point where we only have 6 or 7 racers racing, we have to be very careful not to make a mistake. So we have to take a little less risk and therefore make sure we get times. That's not what Cheshire did. Those 2 girls did not ski conservatively, and therefore they didn't get times in. Therefore, there were only 5 times in, and the team got disqualified in total. Now, if you also notice just the times that these girls are putting in, they're not super fast. So very different situation here for Cheshire versus Southington that has 2 really fast girls, and Cheshire that has a team big enough to put a team score together, but they didn't manage to. So that's a little bit about navigating the CISL website. Next video, I'm going to show you what I do with those numbers and how I portray that to you guys.